Have you ever noticed how you can get along with pretty much anybody really well and really easily until the moment politics enters the equation? Like you take American Thanksgiving, a big family gathering, people have traveled in to see each other, hugs and kisses, pass the mashed potatoes. We're all happy. It's an awesome moment. It's an awesome day until somebody brings up politics, right? That's the cardinal rule. Don't bring up politics at Thanksgiving. But why is that? Why can't we discuss like civilized people? Well, most people have these very, tightly held beliefs and they bristle at conflict, but why should there be a conflict in the first place? Why is it such a sensitive issue? Well, what I would submit to you is that politics poisons everything. But why? Why does politics poison everything? Well, let's take it one step further. What's actually happening is that democracy is poisoning everything because we're all being crammed into this one room, being forced to make decisions together and choose an option, one way or the other. And we're all fighting like hell to get what we want when that's a completely false dichotomy. And it really doesn't need to be like that at all. So, for example, say you're on a family vacation, right? And you want to decide where to go to get lunch or dinner. So some people want to go get sushi, some people want to go get authentic Italian, and you end up going to Olive Garden, which is neither that nor the other thing. And there's nothing wrong with sushi, there's nothing wrong with authentic Italian, but Olive Garden is neither of those, nor would Applebee's make anybody happy. But it's this diluted, lukewarm middle ground, and nobody's really happy. But you know, that's a completely needless situation, right? Is trying to force everybody to make a group decision. Similarly, you've got American politics where we're all, at the end of the day, come election time, it pretty much boils down to, are you going to vote red or blue, right? That's the false dichotomy that the government has forced upon everybody is that, well, we're going to go this direction or that direction. And everybody is playing this tug of war. So let's take a more specific question. You've got the concept of gay marriage, that topic back in 2015 when gay marriage was legalized. Before that, it was a very hot button issue, right? Very sensitive issue, but it never needed to be. That's the thing. It's like, are you gay? Are you going to get married? Well, then why is it any of your business to begin with? Now, you do have the control freaks in any given issue, and they'll say things like, well, they're trying to erode the fabric of society. It's like, but if you believe in the concept of freedom and liberty and, people own their own bodies and their own lives and they can do with it what they want as long as they're not violating other people's rights, well, guess what? It's not your choice to make, even if you believe it's legitimately wrong. Like, I believe it's a bad thing if people spend all their time playing video games and eating junk food. But that doesn't mean I get to go into their house and unplug their video games and throw away their junk food. Why? Because freedom doesn't work that way. Like, why are we questioning this premise of individual liberty and what people are allowed to do? And even if you ask them, the vast majority of Christians and Muslims and religious folks, they don't care if somebody, a couple wants to be gay in the privacy of their own home. Now, it could transform into another issue if you're talking about like, okay, now we're going to put on drag shows for little kids. Okay, different topic. But really, the government should not be involved in marriage in the first place. It's a personal and religious choice. Let's take another issue. You've got school curriculum, right? Like, should the schools teach evolution or creationism or, all kinds of things, communism, critical race theory? There's a million topics, and there's always this tug of war over what should our kids be taught. But my pushback to that is just stop stealing from people, stop robbing people and forcing them all into public schools. Let people send their children and their money to schools that they want to, that they agree with, and the problem vanishes. Society comes up with all sorts of offerings, and we don't all have to be, the big nanny guarding all of society so that it's perfectly exactly how we want. Let's take another example: government welfare. Right? There's always this vicious debate about, should you be able to buy junk food with food stamps? How long should people get these government welfare benefits? How about we just stop stealing from people to fund welfare? Why don't we allow private institutions to voluntarily take care of people? There's already a demand to support the less fortunate, the poor. Churches and mosques and temples, they're already doing that, along with a gazillion other voluntary institutions. Why Do we need to rob people? And the moment you steal from them, yes, people do get fired up about how their money is going to be spent. You can't really blame them at that point, right? Here's another one. Should we help Israel? I don't know why everything has to be a question of we. It's like, since when did everything become a group decision? If you want to help Israel or Ukraine or whatever, send your own money. There's a lot of ways to help people without robbing your neighbor. And this is, again, that false dichotomy, like, should we help Israel or should we not do it? It's like, delete the we. Allow there to be voluntary choice in society. Like, and this is already the case for 10,000 other things. Like, what if we had a debate about, should people, be able to drink wine or not? Because, here's all of the negative effects of wine or, marijuana. Have you ever noticed that as soon as something becomes legal and normalized in society, all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that was ever a thing, right? Like back in the 1930s, 20s and 30s, there was that whole fight over prohibition. Like, they tried to outlaw alcohol. And now alcohol is legal and nobody's suggesting like, oh, you can only have this many beers per day or whatever. Even though alcohol does cause tremendous harm in society, the fact is people own their own bodies. They're able to make their own choices. And if you try to, ban something, you try to enforce a prohibition on something, you can't stop it anyways. People still want it, and you're just going to end up getting nothing in return. Like the prohibition on drugs right now, the war on drugs. Do you think that works? Does that really keep drugs off the streets? Or does it just create drug violence and drug cartels, and you still have the negative effects? You still have the opioid crisis killing all sorts of people as a result of the drug war, because drugs are not safe and, actually tested to quality control standards, et cetera. So, the bottom line is, let's just leave each other the hell alone. Let's stop this false narrative that we all have to decide on everything. Leave people the hell alone. Now, yes, you can have a say on things where human rights are actually concerned, like, should slavery be legal? No, it should not be legal, and that's not a matter of personal preference. So, in matters concerning human rights, uh, people's ownership over themselves and their property, okay, yeah, you can weigh in on that because it actually concerns everybody. Aesthetic preferences and gay marriage, charity, people's personal habits, drinking, how they spend their time, whether they go to the gym, just leave people the hell alone and everything's going to be just fine.